Hello everyone, we have to discuss about that. GS paper 1 spans answer writing preparations. India's urban population is projected to double over the next 3 decades and discuss the challenge posed. Why this the urban expansions, particularly in terms of the infrastructure, financings and government. Introductions. India's urban and population is expected to the rise and from the 4,000 millions to the 800 millions and by 2050 presented both the immense and opportunities and the formidables challenges they key and leads in the addressing and infrastructure deficits and government inefficiencies. 2. Ensure the sustainable urban growth body. Challenges posed and by the urban expansion and inadequacies and urban infrastructures is under the severe strain with the increase and gaps in housings, the water supplies and sanitations and transports and EGN according to the World Bank 2023 and India's request 70 lakh crores and by the 2036 and for the urban infrastructure while the current investment fell short by over the 70% limited municipals and finances municipals revenues and have the strained the 1% of GDP and limiting the cities and abilities to finance and infrastructure projects. And the 15th and the Financial Commission highlighted the inefficiency in property tax and collections. Contribution only 0.15% of GDP in strength on housing and services. Rising population will increase the demand for the affordable housing and electricity and clean the waters and leading on the to information settlements. Over 70% of the urban India and the resides in the slums and census 2011 a figure projected to and grows and the environment degradations and the climate's vulnerabilities, urbanization, excavate issues like the deforestations and urban heats and island making the cities more the climate's vulnerabilities and EG and IPCC and reports 2021 and once of the rising sea levels and threatening cities like Mumbai's and challenges in infrastructure financing, dependence on the state and central transfers and the ULBS and really on internals and funds for the 44% of the revenues and reducing the financials autonomy and EG. The 15th Financial Commission allocated and read 1.21 lakhs crore and for the ULB as but the utilizations and remains low. Decline in PPP and investment, public, privates and partnerships in urban infrastructures and have the reduced due to the low financial viabilities and PPP and investment falls from the 8,353 crores in 2012 and to the 467 and crore in 2018 and poor revenue generations and inefficiency property and tax collections and low cost recoveries and the undermining ULB and revenues and e.g. the Bengaluru's and Jaipur collects only the 5% 20% of percentiles properties tax revenue. World Bank 2018 lack of innovation financing mechanism instrument and like the municipals and bonds and land values captures remains the under and the utilized and municipal bonds and raised only the 3,840 crores between the 2017 and 2022 and far below there's the potentials. Government challenges big and institutional capacities. ULBS and lack the trained and the personals and technologies for the plannings and implementations. Only 50% of the capital expenditures budget and where the spent in Hyderabad and Chennai and World Bank 2012 22 and fragmented plannings and poor coordinations. Multiple agencies managing urban infrastructures create the inefficiencies. Delhi has over the 15 agencies handling and water transports and the sanitations, lack of citizens participations, absence of communities and engagement, reduced availability in the urban government and united public investment in schemes like the Amrut has the implemented and the implementations effectiveness. Way forward strength and municipals financials empower ULBS and with the financial autonomy through the better properties and tax collections and innovations, financials and tools like the municipals bond and e.g. the Ahmedabad successes and with the municipals bond raised 200 crores in 2017 for the urban project adopt the integrations plannings and established and unified and command infrastructures and for the urban government to enhance the coordinations, creation of other metropolitans and plannings committee for Mumbai to ensure the cohesive urban development, boost and PPP models and revenue public and private partnerships by the providing availability and gaps fundings and claim the project frameworks and viability and gap funding for the metro rails and projects under the smart cities mission and raise digital publics infrastructures and DPI and use the technology like the GIS and the mapping and real-time monitoring for efficient and urban management. Bhopal smart city and the project uses too. दे तो दईमन भाई कमरा तुम खाई होगी ना. Focus on capacities and buildings and trains the ULP personnel in modern the urban management and the techniques and enhances administrative efficiencies and capacities buildings programs under the Atals and missions for the regenerations and urban transformation Amrut. Conclusion, India's and urban the expansions provided a unique opportunities to drive the inclusive and the sustainable and development by the addressing and the financing gaps, strengthening government and the adopting and innovatives and solutions. India's the cities can the emerge as the models of resiliences and the growth for the 21st centuries. कैसे पानी हो रहा है पानी में कब पड़ गए हो gender-based violence persistence and as other significant societal issues and despite Gender-based violence persists as a significant societal issue and despite the programs in women's education and empowerment. Discuss the root and causes and suggested way to the address these issues. 15 minutes introduction. Despite advantage in education and empowerment में लेते हैं gender based violence GBP remains a systematic issue in India में है and reflecting the persistent societal inequalities and according to the NCRB 2022 and crimes against the women and rose by the 15.3% and combined compared to the 2021 indicating and that the progress in certain areas and has not the eradicated violence body. Gender-based violence despite the progress in education and empowerment rising the literary and the limited and autonomy and whilst women's literary has the reached 77% decisions making in household and the workplaces and remains the limited and certain. Curtailings and through the empowerment. Only 25% of women in rural areas have decision-making powers and overs majors purchases and independence overshadows and by violence walking the working women face and harassment at workplaces and at the home and discouraging financial autonomy. Cases of sexual harassment reported under the POSE Act 2013 have risen and steadily and improved awareness and but the resistance violence other awareness compositions have led to better and reporting aid deep and the seated and patriarchals and altitude and sustains the GVP. And NCRB in 2022 recorded over 4.05 lakh cases of crimes against the women and UP and from the 3.5 lakhs in 2021 urban-rural divides in the empowerment. Rural women face the more and the societals and restrictions and the gender disparities despite the SHG participations. 49% of rural women have no the control over their the income and FHS 5 and roots uses of gender-based violence. Patriarchals and the norms and roles and male dominances and perpetuals and control over the women and making the violence a tool of subjugations and honors killings and where the societal norms and oppose the women's and autonomies in the marriage and are the prevalent in states like the Haryanas and Uttar Pradesh. Weak enforcement of laws and delay injustice and low the convictions and rates and embolden offenders and convictions and rate for the rape and cases was only 29.8% in 2021. NCRB and economic dependency and women that dependent on male and families members and for the finances and are more and the vulnerable to abuse. In rural India's and women often the lack and the independence access to household incomes, social and the stigmas and underreporting, fears of social stratifications leads to the and reputed and cases and leaving the many and the victims without justice and e.g. 70% of GBP and cases remains the reported due to the fears of family and backlash. United Nations Women lack of educations on genders and equalities and schools and communities fail to address gender sensitizations from other young age and many the girls and dropped out of the schools and due to the unsafe environments and the societals and discouragement and digital abuse and the cyber crimes increased internet usage and has led to the risings online and harassment and cyber stalking. NCRB 2022 and recorded over the 19,000 cases of cyber crimes and targeting women. Ways to address the gender-based violence and strengthened and legals the deterrented implement and fast tracks and court and the stricters and the penalties. For GBP cases, the Justice and the Verma's committees in 2013 and recommended enhances punishment and speedy the trials and for the rape cases and economic empowerment of women. Promotes the vocationals and trainings and microfinancials other employments schemes to reduce the dependency and programs and under the Deen Dayal and Antyodaya Yojana and have the empowered and women in rural areas and through the SHGS and community and grassroots awareness and the grassroots and the compositions must focus on the engaging men and breaking and patriarchal norms. The Nai Chetana and Composition 2024 and aims to the takers and GVP through the SHG and villages and awareness drives, improved education and sensitizations and introduce the gender inequalities and topics in schools and curricula and trains and educators to challenge stereotype types and Kerala's genders and parks the initiatives and has been the successful to promoting the awareness through the schools technologies driven solutions. Expand access to safety apps and the digital reportings and the platforms for women. Apps like and the Himmat and Plus and has the improved women's and access to the timely help in the emergencies. Conclusion. Addressing gender-based violence required the multi and the prolonged and approved approach the combining legal, economics and the societal reforms and empowering women and raising awareness and ensuring community participation can pave the way for other safer and more the equitable society and where the women live with the dignity and freedoms. Question. Child marriage is not and just the violations of the human rights and but other significant impediments to the empowerment of women. Discuss the multi and the dimensional approach and needed to address this the practice and effectively and 15 minutes introduce. Child marriage not only the violated the human rights of the girls and but also the undermines and their the access to education, health and economics opportunities, perpetuating and cycles of genders and inequality as poverty. Body child marriage are the violations of human rights and the impediments to empowerment. Denial of education it's the disrupt the educations of girls and limiting there's the potentials for self and reliances and economic participating and according to UNICEF 2023 and 60% of child bridges in India and drop out of schools and health risk and early the pregnancies leads to higher maternal and mortality rate and poor the health outcomes. ER in India maternal and mortality rate. Mortality rate MMR is the 103 and per 1000 live birth and SRS 2022 with childbirth rates and contributing significantly. Intergenerational poverty, child marriages perpetuates poverty cycles as the uneducated mothers and are less likely to invest in the children's future. The World Bank 2023 linked and child marriages to end the 8% reductions in the GDP in low and the middle income countries, and violation of agency and choice, and it is the denied and women their the rights to choose their the partners or the pursues and personal goals. The National Families Health Survey and NFHS 5 and reports that and 23% of Indian women aged 20 and 24 were the married and before the 18th, and gender-based violence and abuse. The child and bridges are the more vulnerable and to a domestic violence, sexual abuse and the exploitations, perpetuating and cycles of the trauma. UN Women 2023 and highlighted that the child brides face the 70% of higher rate of the intimates and partners violence than the women and marriage as adults. Multidimensional and approach to address the child marriage effectively and legal the interventions, strengthening laws and strict the implementations of prohibitions of Child Marriage Act 2006 and raising the legal family marriage age to the 21, and Rajasthan registered 4,000 cases of the child marriages preventions in 2023 due to the remove and enforcement mechanism, effective and reporting mechanism, and promotes the platforms like the Child Marriage Free and Bharat portals for the easy reportings and trackings and education and awareness initiative, promoting the education, ensure the universal access to the secondary education for girls and reducing the dropout and rated. The Beti Bachao Beti Padhao composition has increased the girls and enrollment in the secondary schools by 14% and PIB in 2023. Behavioral changes programs and communities based the awareness compositions to challenges cultural and acceptance of child marriages. UNICEF, the Kishori and the Shakti and the Yojanas has the empowered and the adolescent and girls with life skills and training, economic empowerment and skills the development provides, and vocationals and trainings and entrepreneurships opportunities for young girls to enhance economic independence. The National Rural Livelihood Missions NRLM has trained and 10 lakh women in 2023 and improving and financial autonomy, conditional case and transfer schemes and incentives, and delay the marriages and through the programs and like the Apni Beti Apna Dhan in Haryana, community and societal engagement. Role of local government and involve the Panchayati Raj institution in preventing the child and marriages through the active monitorings. The Kendra, Karnataka's and Gram Panchayat child marriage monitorings and community has significant reduced cases in the rural areas, and civil society partnerships and collaborations with the NGOs for the grassroots levels advocacy. And for advocacy, Girls Not the Bridge and the international networks works intensively in the India's for the community legal label interventions and technologies and digital platforms, leveraging and digital tools, and use the portals like the Child Marriage Free Bharat to the streamline awareness and reporting. Example, Rajasthan and launched a digital helpline in 2024, receiving over 5,000 reports and within a years. Data and driven policy makings and use the artificial intelligence and data analyzed to the identify vulnerable regions and allocated resources effectively. And conclusion, eliminating and child marriages and required the conveniences of legal educational and social efforts, underpinned by the innovations and solution and politicals will by the empowering girls and through the educations and opportunities. India can truly and released the visions of the Viksit Bharat and by the 2047 ensuring the futures of equality and dignity for all. Question: how does the Urban Infrastructure Development Fund aim to the enhances the urban infrastructures in smaller cities? Analyze its the potential impact on local government and bases the services and deliveries. Introduction. Urbanizations in Tier 2 and Tier 3 and cities, the phases and significant challenges due to the inadequate and infrastructures and financings. The Urban Infrastructures Development Fund UIDF provides other stable funding mechanism to bridge and these gaps and improved basic urban services. Body role of the UIDF in the enhances urban infrastructures. Urban infrastructures stable financing for the infrastructures and uses the priorities sectors lending the shortfalls to the ensures other predictables and funds for the infrastructure project. UIDF and the outlays of the raise 2481 crore till 2025 and 26 targeted projected like the sewages and stormwater drainage targeted the focus on smaller cities prioritize and tier 2 and tier 3 cities where urban infrastructure deficits are the most acute. Municipal corporation and urban local bodies ULBS are the key and the implementing agencies. Basic service improvement supports critical infrastructures like the water supply and sanitation and social waste and management, e.g. improved and water the distributions and systems in smaller towns under the UIDF can the reduced and inadequates in access the capabilities buildings of ULBS aims to empower urban the local bodies by the enabling and better planning and the executions and resource utilized. Convergences and with the smart cities and the initiatives to the trains municipal staffs potential impact on local governance. Empowering ULBS and encourages the decentralizations planning and the executions by the local government, e.g. state like the Rajasthan have the villaged and UIDF and to funds the ULB and drive on solid waste project, increase the accountability and monitoring and mechanism like the real times ALGOs taking and improved and transparencies and reduced funds more. Fund misses and the UIDF projected and the take us through the national housing banks and the portals. Public-private collaborations and create the opportunities for the PPP and the models ensuring the efficiency, service and delivery. Integrated and best management system in Gujarat and under the smart and frameworks. Potential impact on basic services deliveries and enhancing the qualities of life and improved the sewages and water and the supply systems and the directly impact. तुम चलाएं तना कम कर ली आवाज
कम तो ही कितने आ रही वहाँ
कौन चला रहा हो फिर
मैं तो ब्लूटूथ लगाया हूँ
अच्छा जी तेज चला रहा हूँ राम public private collaborations and create the opportunities for the PPP models and ensuring the efficiency service deliveries and integrated waste management system in Gujarat under the similar frameworks and potential impact on basic service deliveries enhances qualities of life improved the sewages and water supply systems and directly impact the health and the livings standard UIDF and funding for the storm waters drained in the coastal cities and can the mitigates and urban and the flooding risk and economic growth and better infrastructures attract and investment and promotes the small business town in Tamil Nadu and with the improved water infrastructures and has been the highest industrial activities. Environment and sustainable focus on the eco and friendly urban and population solutions like the solid waste management and water recycling and solid waste and the composing project and under the UIDF in Kerala and improved the waste reuse and conclusions. The UIDF is other pivotal and initiatives to bridge the urban infrastructure gaps in the smaller cities and with the effective implementations and capacities buildings of the ULBS. It can the ensures the inclusive urban and the development whilst the lines foundations for the climates resiliences in economically vibrant cities. Effect of globalizations on the Indian society. Question: globalization has the brought and with it the rapid lifestyle changes and that have the received and held the outcomes in India. Critically analyzes the link between the globalizations and the increase in non-communicable diseases. Introduction: globalization has transformed economies and but it has also the reshaped and lifestyles significantly impacting health outcomes in India. The repeats rise in and known and the communicable and diseases as NCD as is either testament and to the complex influences of globalization on public health body. Globalizations and repeat lifestyles and changes and predatory and shifts increasingly and the availabilities of the processed and high in the sugars and fat due to multi multinational food corporations and growth of the fast food and chain in India and has led to other sharp rise in the chloride dense food and the consumptions and insurance and FHS 5 sedentary lifestyle shift from the traditionals to the office and waste the job and reducing the physical activities level and urban areas and has been other 27% and the increase in the sedentaries jobs and since the 2010 and World Bank 2022 and increase the work stress globalizations works cultures and promotes the long hours and the night shift and affecting physicals and mental health. IT sector buildings reports IT sector buildings reports and high and levels of strength and sleeps and disorders due to night shift Indian and the Councils of Medical Research 2021 rise in tobacco and the alcohol consumptions global marketing has the increased consumptions of tobacco and alcohol among youth. India show other 30% rise in alcohol consumptions among youth and between the 2015 and 2020 who global status report on the alcohol and health and 2022 link between globalizations and the increase in the non and the communicable diseases and obesities and the diabetes and western diets and high in the refined and sugars have led to other surge in the obesities and the diabetes and the prevalences in the India has reached and 17.5% among the adult especially in urban areas and IDF and the debates Atlas 2023 cardiovascular diseases CBDS and the sedentary and lifestyles poor diets and the stress increase the risk of hearts and diseases CBDs and now the causes 30% of all the death in India and with the urban population. with urban populations at the greatest risk and the global burdens of the diseases report 2022, and mental health issues, works related issue, stress and isolations, and the societal pressure increase the anxiety and depressions. Mental health disorders affected 1 in 7 Indians, and the wars worsened and by the lifestyles and changes due to the globalizations, and Lancet report 2021. Hypertensions, high and salt intakes, and the stress contributions to rising and hypertension levels. And hypertension now affect 28% of adults in India, and with the low awareness and control rate NFHS 5, and increase the urbanizations and the pollutions repeats the urbanizations has led to air pollutions, contributing to the respiratories and the cardiovascular diseases. Delhi and the Mumbai consistently and rank among the most and the polluted cities, and globally IQ Airs 2023 positive and impact of the globalizations on health. Improved access to healthcare. Globalizations has led to the better and healthcare infrastructures and treatment involving life and the expectancies in India, and life expectancy rose to the 70.2 and years in 2022, partly and due to the medicals and advanced WHO. Increased health awareness, and global medias and compositions have the raised an awareness of health issues and promoting the preventive cares. WHO 25 by 25 global NCD and reductions compositions emphasis lifestyle changes and health screenings, advancement to the telemedicines and telemedicines has the enables wider access to medical services, especially in rural areas. eSanjeevani and India's national telemedical services has provided over 10 million consultations. Ministry of Health 2023 promotes the physical activities awareness, global fitness trends, and has the raised awareness about the importance of physical activities, leading to increased participations in fitness activities, and India's the fitness and industries grow by the 20% in the past and decades, and with the increasing numbers and gyms, yogas, and the wellness programs, and the ASHO comes 2022, and conclusions took up the growing health burdens and of the NCDs and India's, and must the balance globalization benefits with the proactive public and health the measures such as the lifestyle education preventives and health cares, and the stronger regulations on the unhealthy and food and the works conditions, and this the integrations approach can help India's leveraged globalizations while the safeguarding and public health. Question examines how the flexibilities and provides why the work from the home and WFH has the influences societal pattern and such as the housing preferences and family dynamics in India. The adoptions of works from the home and WFH and post the COVID-19 has the transformed and the societal patterns, particularly influencing housing choice and family relationships in India, reflecting both and the opportunities and challenges. Body impact on the housing and preferences shift to the suburbans and the rural areas, and WFH has the allowed and pupils to move the away from the knitting crafts. Franks and India 2023 reported the 15% and rise in the suburban and housing demands and post the pandemics, and demand for the larger homes and families, and now the prefers and homes with additionals and rooms or workspace to support the remotes and works need. real estate developers and in the Bangalore and Pune notes the surge in 3 and BHK and work friendly designs and JLL India. Stabilizations of urban and the rentals markets and reduced and need for the proximities and to workplaces and has the modernized and rentals cost in major cities and rental prices in the Mumbai and the suburb and dropped by the 10% in 2023. Emerge of co-living space professional especially and the millennials and has the zones and preferences for the WFH friendly and co-livings and the arrangement with the shares amenities e.g. Stanja Livings and recorded the 20% rise in the co-livings and demands in Tiers 1 and cities 2024. Revenge migrations to Tiers 2 cities and employees and relocating to hometowns and have the fluid and growth in the smaller cities housing market is. The NASHCOMS 2023 reported the 30% rise in the revenge and migrations to cities like the Jaipur and Indore. Impact on the family dynamics and strengthens and family bond and more times at the home and has the improved family relationships and the involvement in the dairy and routines and C second and CIIFMS survey 2024 shows the 68% of the responded and the reportings improved and families engagement and the blue red and work life and boundaries lack of the physicals and the separation between the works and the personal life has the increased issue stress and conflict the linked in an India survey 2023 and fund and the 62% of employees and reporting higher work life and imbalance during the WFH and shifting genders and roles and WFH has the encourages men to take on more and the domestic and responsibilities challenges and traditional gender norms and UN Women's India's 2023 and reported 28% of the men and participating more to the household and the chores post WFH adoptions. Educational impact on children's parents working from the homes and contributions most to children academics and through the juggling works and the parenting remains difficult. ORF 2023 and noted the increased and patientious involvement in education during remote works and reduced the viabilities of joint families and increased the demand for the privacy and dedicated workspace and has the created logistics and the emotional tensions in joint the household. Anecdotals reported and from the urban areas and suggested rising preferences for the nuclear setups. Conclusion: the flexibility of the WFH has the raised recept and societal patterns while the creating opportunities for the affordables housings and families and bondings while also the exposing and challenges and likes the stress and work life and imbalance policy supporting better urban plannings and workplaces flexibilities frameworks are the criticals to the leveragings and WFHS and the full potential. Social empowerment, communalism, and the rationalism and the secularism, silent features of the world and physical geography. How do the unique and characteristic of the ice giant and like the Uranus and Neptune challenges ours the current understandings of the planetaries and sciences discussed 10 minutes. An introduction. ICE giant like the Uranus and the Neptune exhibits and unique the features such as the unusuals and the magnetic field, potential subsurface and oceans, and the extremes and atmosphere conditions and which the challenges traditional models of planetary formations and evolutions body Unique characteristic of ice and giant ice giant like and the Uranus and the Neptune, and known the dipolars and magnetic field, and there the magnetic field are the tilted and the offset from the planet center, and the indicating complex international structures, and NASA the Voyagers 2 and the 1986 and found the Uranus magnetic and field the tilted and by the 59 degrees and the significantly offset potential subsurface oceans. Recent the subsidies and suggest the hidden oceans of the super and the critical and floods like the waters and the ammonia, and beneath there's the icy and the mantles. Proceeding of the National Academies of the Socials and 2024 and highlighted the sub and the surface oceans and expansions, magnetics anomalies, and the unusual exiles and tilted urban tilt at the 98 degree Celsius extreme seasonals and variations, and the district's climate's behavior. Uranus experience 42 years of sunlight at one pole followed by the 42 years of the darkness. High methane concentrations methane absorb red light, giving the planets there the blue hue and driving unique weather patterns. Example: Neptune's Great Dark Spores and 1989 and demonstrated the stress wilds and over the 2000 km per hours. Extreme internal pressures, high pressures create the exotic ice and the unusuals and compound like the supersonic waters, the diamond, and ran the hypothesis and suggested the methane turnings into the diamount and under the intensives and the pressures. Challenge to current and the understandings of planetary science and incomplete models of planetary formations. There the composition challenges the solars and the nebula theory, and which the predicted and guessed the against and dominations and ice the reasons, and the nice and models 2005 was revived to express there the distance orbit gap in understanding magnetic field and generation offset and magnetic field, and suggested the unconventional dynamo and process in their the interiors. The urban field likes and originated and from and the iconic floods layers, not the cores and dynamo diverse planetary evolutions. There's the uniques and features in indicated and dynamic historicals and possibilities involve the collisions or perturbations. Thus, the large impact and hypothesis and explain Uranus and tilt and the reduced international heat. Limited explorations. Most current and knowledge relies on the data from the Voyagers 2 and 1986 and highlighting the need for the more and missions. NASA proposed the Uranus and the orbiters and probe. The mission 2031 and aims to the address those gaps. Astrobiological potentials and the subsurface and oceans could and supports the extremophiles like life forms and challenging the assumptions about the habitability on Earth and hydrothermals and bend hypothermals and bend labor's life deposits harsh conditions. Conclusion: the peculiarities of the Uranus and Neptune's changes our the planetary science and the paradigm and offering the opportunities to refine the exciting the theories. Futures missions like the NASA's Uranus orbits and probe will be the crucial for the and the revealing thus and the mysteries and the enhancing over the understandings of the similar exoplanetary system. थैंक यू गाइस दिस सेशन विल बी क्लोज नेक्स्ट सेशन देखेंगे बाद में बाय बाय टेक केयर अपना ध्यान रखिए और खुश रहिए गुड नाइट सी यू टुमारो बाय